We good. We good. We good. Urban Therapy with Sun 752. Let's get this thing popping. Yo, Saturday. Yeah. What? Yeah. 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 What up, y'all? Urban Therapy with Sun 752. And this is the Urban Therapy with Sun show. We do this every single Saturday from 1:30 p.m. till around 3:30-ish. And the reason that we say 3:30-ish is because sometimes it gets so heated that we just have to do a little OT on a Saturday. And it is Saturday. I said, this is the show where adults come out and play with other adults. We laugh, we cry, we argue, fuss, and fight, go back and forth with each other, bust it up all crazy. We take an introspective look into our own personality to see the way that the universe projects us into this thing called the world and try to figure out this thing called life. I'm your host, Sun752, aka Omar with the rrrr. And if you can't say Omar with the rrrr, well, then you just say Omar with the R. This is the Urban Therapy with Sun show. I'm feeling like a real man should, and I hope y'all feeling like real men and women should also. Today, this afternoon, on this 7th of June. That's what it is. We're talking about college, the army, getting a job, or what? Shout out to the entire class of 2025. You know, all my old heads, or anybody who has been out of school for 15 years or more, you know, when you think back to when you were 18 years old or however old you were when you graduated high school, were you sure of the path that you should have taken or that you wanted to take when you got out of high school? You know, it's a really, really transformational time in your life when you don't have to get up every morning and go to school. But if you go to college, then you still may have to get up and you know, every morning to go to school, depending on how you set up your classes. But one thing is for sure is that when you graduate high school, nobody is holding your hand through life like they used to. Nobody is really responsible for you. You know, even though you may still be living with your parents and you may still be under the control of your parents, they only have but so much power over you, because you can pretty much do what you want to do. So what would you choose to do when you were 18 years old or 17 years old or 19 years old? Were you sure of whether you wanted to go to school? Did you go to the school that you wanted to go to? I didn't. I went to the school that I could go to because there was some mix-ups. Maybe I'll get into that a little later on in the show. But, you know, there were other options out there. Going into the military. A lot of high school graduates decide to go into the military. And it can be a good look. It can be a good look. As we know the consequences of going into the military. You know, we can stay on the positive side, or we can go into the realistic consequences of going into the military. And a lot of times, parents who are legacy military vets. In other words, when I say legacy, I mean everybody in your family goes to the military after high school before they do anything else. So before they go into college, they go into the military, and then they come out and then they go to college, or maybe they use the military in order to go to college. It's a very good way to have your school 100% paid for. They do that. The government will do that for you. Getting a job, regular job, starting off somewhere, entry-level position or whatever, or do you have a plan? Many people who graduated high school when I was graduating, especially now, became entrepreneurs. They had something going on. Unfortunately, when I was in high school, a lot of things that people had going on after they graduated high school was selling drugs. It was the crack era. Crack era. Crack era. It's a shame that it was so lucrative. I lost a lot of lives. That shit was messed up, but yo, you still gotta survive. Still going through the fray, and it makes me have a little like something to say. Graduated 1988, yeah. Hip hop money was straight. Had my whole life in front of me. Yo, I knew that I wanted to see. Yeah, going Penn State, 1989 spring, it was fine, cold, yeah, and it was snow on the ground, and I had to look around. Yeah, never went to school with that many white folks. Went to school with white folks, but damn y'all folks. Yeah, culture shock, not really. Yeah, still had to do things, yo, to make myself a real man. I had to get me a real plan. I think about it right now. Did I really have a plan then? Do I have it now? Yeah, put the pen down on the paper, yo. On to the next show, a different caper. All right, anyway, that's what we're talking about today. You know, hopefully you don't graduate high school and just want to smoke weed in your mom's in the room that your mom's had, or your dad or your parents have provided for you. Whether they gave you a little basement apartment, attic apartment, your room with that same single bed you've been sleeping in. Same single bed you've been sleeping in since you was the same single bed you've been sleeping in since you was the same single bed. Let's get it popping, y'all. Let's get it popping, please. Let's go ahead and go on with the show. But I'm gonna need you to, think about when you are a young man or a young woman and what you wanted to do after high school. How did those things materialize? Did they go the way that you wanted them to go? Sometimes things work out the way you want them to. Often they do not. We gonna talk about it, be about it, get involved. These puzzle pieces right now, we gonna solve. What up, y'all? How you feeling today? How are my people feeling today? Tori, 2200. Good looking out, ma. Good looking out. Appreciate it. Dimples D's is all up in the house. What's good? And Stacy White, what's good? Holding it down for the D all day, every day. T Carry right, morning, noon, and night. It's always great to have my peepers going right into your sight. Now, in 2025, with the world being the way that it is, we don't look at college. We don't look at the military. We don't even look at getting a job in the same ways that we looked at it when I graduated. Now, granted, I'm in like the 45th grade now. Okay, wait. I was in the 12th grade, 1988. It has been 37 years since the 12th grade. So if I add 37 onto 12, then I get 49. So I'm in the 49th grade. What up? I'm in the 49th grade, y'all. Now, do you understand how I did that math? Do y'all understand how I did that math? Cheryl Halsey, what's good, ma? Do you understand how I came up with myself being in the 49th grade? You take your 12th grade year and you add on whatever age, how many years since 12th grade has passed. And you add those together. So it's been 37 years since I've been in high school. That shit seems amazing to me. Because I look exactly the same as I did in high school. I haven't aged a bit. I got a different hairstyle. Put on a few pounds. But, I'm the same old G. I know y'all didn't think I was no older than 22. Oh no, this beard ain't really gray. I colored this shit. You know what I'm saying? I figured I would go up and get old head status before old head status came and got me. So, 22. I'm in the 49th grade, but got the face and body of a 22. Anyway, I'm in the 49th grade. What grade y'all in? Y'all scared to say it, ain't you? You scared to say, no, I can't do the math. I'm confused. I can't do the math. I can't do the math, son. Just go ahead with your show. Just go ahead with your time. It's all good. But yeah, in 2025, what do you think the best plan of action would be for a high school graduate? What advice would you give an 18-year-old in 2025 about their future? What would you tell them to do? And many of y'all are graduating children, sons and daughters, and maybe grandchildren. They're graduating high school. Their whole life is in front of them, man. Their whole lives are in front of them. Hopefully they don't turn out like Jada Pinkett's brother and set it off. Remember, he graduated, got acorn put in his shaved in his head, and next thing you know, bow, move from the gate now. So what would you tell them to do? What have you told your children to do? If you have children who graduated high school, what did you tell them to do? Did you give them an ultimatum? Are you going to do something getting out of here? I know you don't think that you just going to be in here playing video games, smoking your weed. And I know you smoke weed. You know I don't approve of that shit. I don't care if it's legal or not. You know what I mean? You be smoking in here. I be smelling the shit. When I come home, I be smelling the shit. When I go to bed at night, I be smelling the shit. Around the backyard, ball court, smelling the shit. Up all in the garage, I be smelling the shit. You always smoking all the time, and I be smelling the shit. I'm tired of telling, I'm not telling, and I'm smelling the shit. And I be smoking shit myself, and I be... Two truths and a lie. Talk about stop what? Advice. Hold on. It says advice to never listen to your channel again. Oh, we can definitely keep you from listening to this channel ever again. Yeah, I mean, if that's what you want, you're what they say, your something is my command. Your choice. What is it? How do you say it? Your something is my command. Listen, I can make that happen for you. You don't like this channel? I don't have no problem getting rid of you. I can get you right the fuck on up out of here. Your wish is my command. Thank you, dickhead. Now, if you don't want to listen to this channel, we can get that done. All right, cool. Never mind. Okay, so we're going to have a little bit of troll activity today. What else is new? Oh, my God. Where does your forehead end? Oh, my God. Oh. How many bald niggas in this world are there now? Like, I could see if this was like the 70s, 80s, even the 90s. But motherfuckers be losing their hair in their 20s these days. So, like, what's the deal? What matters is whether you handsome or not. And you ain't gonna tell me shit about myself, because shit, bald or no bald. All right, so like I said, what advice or what direction did you give your own kids when they graduated from high school? What did you tell them to do? What did you tell them to do? Because everybody wants to see their children do well after high school, excel after high school, make money, be safe. Now, I mean, hopefully, one thing I left out of the title after graduating high school or finishing school, quote unquote, is that unfortunately, some youth spend the rest of their lives or a significant portion of their lives in jail. I hate that is an option for some. And I'm not sure if it's an option that some of them chose, but it's definitely something that happens to a lot of 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, and whatever. You know, it's something that we have to take into consideration, especially in the Black population. You know how in the political sphere, they always trying to give us prison reform, like all we do is go to jail. I resent that shit, but you know, I also have to acknowledge the reality of some of it. I have to acknowledge the reality of some of it. Good looking out, Tori. Thanks for always holding it down. Let's see. GK Wright says, taught my kids to be entrepreneurs, but also taught them how to cook and do construction. I don't think that you could ever go wrong knowing a skill, a marketable skill, plumbing, electricity, roofing. And, you know, you can always get a job in the labor union. Now, I'm going to tell y'all something, and I'm going to be totally honest. I'm against a person straight out of high school going right into the union. And it's not that I have anything against union workers, because I don't. I support labor unions to the fullest. And I'm a manager. So you would think that I can't stand these fucking unions. They are all they do is bullshit and get away with shit and go against management and blah blah blah. But I don't look at it that way. I know that some of these jobs are unfair. They have unfair labor practices and things like that. But I don't think that a high school graduate, somebody who is fresh into the workforce, should have a union job first, because you get the wrong impression about how jobs go. I would encourage them to first work in private business with a non-union job, so you'll see that you don't always hold the cards and you don't always have somebody advocating for you. And you're going to have to learn how to use your problem solving skills, and also how to dumb down your passion. Like, just because you don't like to do something, just because you think something is unfair, just because you see an injustice or whatever, you can't always, just express that outright and expect nothing to come out of it. So I would say first, get a non-union job if you're not going to go to school, if you're not going to go to the military or whatever. Like, the military will tell you, what the fuck is a union? Ain't no union. You're going to get up at the crack of dawn, or even before that, you're going to run this 10 miles every fucking day. You know what I mean? We're going to make a machine out of your ass, and we're going to yell and scream at you even when you do things right. So that's definitely the opposite of the union. So working in a union job right out of high school or as your first job will have you thinking like, oh yeah, you'll get into that. Oh, they can't do this, or oh, they can't do that. And that's not really a good way to be. It's not a good attitude to have as a new employee. So non-union job first, if you're not going to do anything else. But that's just my opinion. And I just gave you the reasons for my opinion. Umar Sahad says, would you trust someone who claims to be you mean doctor? Would I claim somebody who claims to be a doctor? I mean, would I trust somebody who claims to be a doctor without a college degree? No, not at all. Not at all. But then again, they have, okay, like Dr. Sebi, the late, great Dr. Sebi. He didn't have a college degree. I don't even think he had a high school diploma. So there are different kinds of doctors in this world. Whether we acknowledge them all or not, whether we utilize them all or not. So I may have to adjust my answer. Tell you what, I would not trust a medical doctor who didn't have a college degree, advanced degrees, because I'm not going, ain't no medical doctors out there, ain't no physicians out there with nothing but a bachelor's degree. So, yeah, I understand what you're saying. Now, you have people who will say that college isn't for everyone, and there's a certain amount of truth to that. I hate that there's any amount of truth to that. I believe that everybody should go to college, whether they graduate or not, just for the structure, just for the information, because even with the information age, even with the internet age, you will learn things in college that you would have never learned otherwise on your own, because you wouldn't have known to even go and look for those things. That's the one thing that college does give you. And that's kind of one of the reasons why I believe in taking classes in the classroom instead of online. Not that there's anything wrong with taking classes online. I mean, whatever your schedule dictates, you like it, I love it. But when you have the on-campus, going from class to class experience, you get something that other students online may not get. The student interaction, the real face-to-face student interaction, where you give off your energy and you feel somebody else's energy, meeting people from other places and actually having one-on-one conversations with them, possibly even networking with them, visiting them. College is a great thing. And of course, I say college is a great thing because I went to college and I actually, went and finished that shit. But I understand there was some people think that they don't have the aptitude or the patience to go to college. I didn't really either. I didn't. I mean, I may have had the aptitude in a way. Depends on how you look at it. Because I really only went to high school up until 10th grade. I graduated with a 10th grade education, but I made it work. So I know that it can be done as long as you have certain skills in certain areas. So I believe that you should be able to count well, or you should be able to read well. If you can do one or both of those things, you can get through college. Real shit. Real shit. If you have struggle reading, I can understand why you wouldn't want to go to college. You're not going to make it. If you don't read well, or if you're lazy about reading or whatever, it's going to be very hard for you to go to college. It's going to be very hard for you to get through. TK Wright says, we've been having the corniest trolls. Pound better trolls. I agree. Shohalsey says, our boys continue working. Girls went to college. Oh, interesting. That's interesting. Years ago, from different people, you may have heard like a different dynamic. Like the boys probably went to college and the girls either worked or just waited to get married. But then again, can I really say that? I know all the women in my family have gone to college. All of them. Now, very few of them have finished. And no matter how smart they were, for some reason, they had perseverance issues. But they all had they were smart enough to get through it. That's why it didn't make no sense. But you go to college, you can get caught up in the social atmosphere. Next thing you know, you ain't going to class, you ain't doing none of your schoolwork, and your ass is coming home. Yo, Zishan Hashimi, or should I say Zishan Hashmi, says, what the fuck are you drinking? Eggs? Well, no, those are lemons you see. And that's a big sack of tea. So there's herbal tea in that sack, in that canvas sack that you see. So what kind of tea do I have in here? I got dandelion, I got echinacea, I got red clover, I have mullein. And the reason why it's this yellow color, because I have turmeric up in here. That's what it is. That's what it is. He said, what the fuck are you drinking? Eggs? Wow. I ain't even mad at that. Not at all. So let me see what some of y'all are thinking. Let me see. But first of all, I want to thank y'all for coming through. Nah, that's not enough. Yo, clap for him. Appreciate y'all, man. You can give him more applause than that. Good looking, good looking. Tori says he always drinks the good stuff. And this actually, I mean, I don't drink anything that's nasty, but people think that it is because it doesn't, I can understand people concentrating on how something looks rather than how it tastes. But I'm like, I don't know, man. What are some things that don't look good that taste good? Are there any foods out there that aren't really all that pretty to the eyes, but taste great? How about corned beef hash? Corned beef hash look like dog food. That shit look like Alpo with onions in it to me. What about that? Corned beef hash. I don't think that shit looks so good, but it tastes pretty good. I ain't mad at corned beef hash. What else? I mean, when you really think about it, do scrambled eggs look good? Do they? Don't lie. Do they? You know what I mean? We've been so ingrained and ingratiated into to scrambled eggs and such that maybe it looks familiar to us. But if you never saw scrambled eggs before, wouldn't it just look like some yellow slop? No? It's just me? All right, hold on. What else? What other things don't look that good? but tastes good. Guacamole. Guacamole. That shit looked like some kind of alien slop that they used to have in 1970s horror movies. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying. Come on now. Guacamole. Now, I like guacamole, but some people don't like guacamole. And I think they don't like guacamole because of the color, the way it looks. Green, baby. It's green. It looks a little like regurgitation, but I like it. Split pea soup. That don't look good. That don't even sound good. Split pea soup. That don't even sound like it's something that's going to taste good. What else? What else you got? What else y'all got? Foods. We're going to get back on the topic for a minute. Foods that don't look good, but taste good. Shrimp fried rice. That shit don't look all that appealing. Oh shit, okra. I love okra too, Tori. Most people hate okra. They be shitting on okra. They be like, they look like snot. I'm like, you know how healthy that shit is? You know how healthy okra is? That shit be good, man. I'm saying, man, if you throw you throw a little ground beef or some ground turkey up in the okra and shit, put some tomatoes in that bitch, season it up real good, you be okra in it for days. But I like okra raw. I get down with okra. It ain't for the weak though. Cheryl Halsey said, son, do you drop raw eggs? No. I did that shit when I was a kid. You know, you see that shit in the movies. I think I saw that shit in Uptown Saturday Night. Wasn't that where Harry Belafonte, he ate the eggs out of off the plate? Well, didn't he do that? Was it Let's Do It Again or Uptown Saturday Night? I think it was Uptown Saturday Night. I drunk that shit. I was like, it's disgusting. Eating raw eggs. That was supposed to be some extra macho manly shit back in the day. Eating raw eggs. That shit is bad for your health, man. It's salmonella. Yo, you ain't supposed to eat no raw eggs. You ain't supposed to do that shit. Raw clams either. That don't look good. And I'm not so sure it tastes all that good either. Anybody like clams on the half shell? This shit, you be getting sand in your mouth and all of that shit. You're right, Troy. What up, my brother? He said Rocky as well. Right, Rocky. Eating them raw eggs. Yeah, I eat raw eggs. That's how I got these biceps. Look, these are raw eggs biceps. It's like, no, these are okra biceps. Okra. Oh, man. Tori said, no clams or oysters. Man, people think they the shit. Oh, yeah, it's an aphrodisiac. If you need them nasty ass, cold ass, slimy, tasting, salty clams in order to get a hard dick or a wet pussy, yeah, something wrong with you. Something wrong with you. like, baby, listen, I got this little porn movie. You know what I mean? I want to watch it with you and then, get into something. Like, yeah, baby, that's cool. But can we go get some clams first? I'm sorry, babe, what? I want to go get some clams. Like, you want to get some crab legs, maybe some shrimp or something? Nah, I don't want none of that. We're going to watch the porn and then we're going to, the way the clams is how I'm going to, right, baby? I didn't mean to turn you on to no goddamn clams. Tori says, whole crabs look weird to me now. How about, when you eat a whole crab, that shit don't look like something you should be eating. You got to clean all that shit out. And that's what you literally cleaning out, crab shit. You cleaning out crab shit. And with the female crabs, you cleaning out crab eggs. All that shit look like like egg yolk. It looked like cooked egg yolk inside of a crab. That shit don't look all that appealing. That's why a lot of people don't like whole crabs. They'll eat the crab legs, but only a certain amount of people eat the whole crabs. Like, that's a lot of work to get that little bit of meat. Okay, let's go to the poll. Well, we got 15 votes right now. All right. We're a little low on the votes. Please, y'all, hit the like button. Do me that one solid. Please hit the like button. You know what I mean? It helps the channel. The channel needs help. It helps the channel, and the channel needs help. Sometimes we come into this show, we just start listening, trying to figure out if we feeling this thing or not or whatever. But then next thing you know, you done hung around here like 10, 15, 20, half an hour, you know, and all that. You ain't pushing the like, you ain't hit the like button. You can't watch a show for a whole half an hour and tell me you ain't like this shit. You like something. All right. In 2025, what is the generally best option for a high school graduating teenager? 20% said going to college. Damn, 60% said learning a trade and working. Wow. Okay. 13% said joining the military. And 7% said starting their own online business. Starting their own online business. Like you was already showing your titties online, so now it's time for you to get an OnlyFans. Unfortunately, those are the things that we have to take into consideration when we start talking about your online business. There's a very lucrative ass shaking population on money making ass shaking money making population online. Look at this. Please, I'm starving now. Please help me. You're starving so much that you have an internet connection, a phone, or some other device, and you can go online and ask for money. Well, shit, man. You know, I've said for a long time, if finances are your biggest problem in life, then you living a good life. Because you can always make some money. You can always find some money, borrow some money, take some money, steal some money. So if finances are your biggest problem in your life, you doing all right. Because there's people up there sick, terminally ill, or have really nagging health issues or whatever that money can't fix. Imagine not being able to walk. Or put your arms above your head, or crazy gastrointestinal issues. I call it Virgo. You know what I mean? I call any stomach ache, any gastrointestinal issues, I call it Virgo. Because I never met a Virgo that didn't have stomach problems. I never met a Virgo that I couldn't hear their stomach. Like a totally quiet room, and all you hear is Virgo. There's a war going on outside no one is safe from. Yeah, the Virgo got a lot of hum coming from their stomach and their abdominal. That shit is crazy. It feels kind of like a criminal. They not shooting, they not stabbing, and they not hurting, but it sounds like in their stomach somebody squirting out like it's like a it's a thunder. It's a thunderclap stomach. Got a thunderclap. Yeah, I got Virgo, baby. It's a thunderclap. It's a thunderclap. Virgo, baby. It's a thunderclap stomach. A thunderclap stomach. I got Virgo, baby. And all the Virgos know what I'm talking about. Right now, you're looking at your stomach like, shut up. Stop snitching. Stop snitching. Stop snitching. It's all good, though. So, are we up to 17 votes? So the percentage went down to 59% for learning a trade and working. So most of us agree so far, or most of us believe so far that learning a trade and working is the best way to go straight out of high school. Do you think that most kids coming out of high school have the discipline to go to work every day and hone their skills in their trade? Of course, there are plenty who do. There's some who are unfocused. You know, one thing about finishing school is you feel this wave of freedom come over you. And it can have an effect, sometimes an adverse effect on your decision making. You know what I mean? Like, yo, what do you mean I don't have to go to school? What do you mean I don't have to buy school clothes in the fall? What do you mean I don't have to walk around with a book bag no more? I don't need a number 2 pencil. What? No trapper keeper. No loose leaf binder. Do they even use that in school anymore? They do still use pen and paper, right? It can't be all computer based, right? They still. I know they took cursive out of the curriculum, but they still have to write something, right? Show your work in math, right? Right? Yeah. AK Inks or Akinks. Yeah, send your account number. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Send that shit. Class of 2025. I ain't gonna lie. I wouldn't want to be a teenager in this era for shit. I wouldn't. I would not want to be, even in my 20s, I wouldn't want to be that in this era. And that's probably just my age coming out, my lack of tolerance for certain things, appreciation for certain things, prejudices against certain things. You know, I wouldn't want to be a young person in this era. It's just a whole lot going on. Like when I was graduating high school, we knew what we wanted to do. Even if it wasn't really right, we knew. We knew. But there were a lot of resources that we had when I graduated. Resources that are no longer available here. You know, we still have factories and mills and places where we could get a job. Getting a job wasn't a problem. Finding the job that paid you what you wanted to get paid, that may have been an issue for some, but many people never went to college and never went to school, and they were able to start off at a job, work their way up, you know, just working hard, networking, getting it in. So they could become a supervisor or something like that and make a really good livable wage. You know, they could move, you know, they could drive around in something nice. They could live in somewhere decent. They could move outside of the city. Never went to college. I know a lot of people who never went to college and they still moved up in their job and did well. I mean, I look at my stepdad. He didn't go to college. He didn't even graduate high school. He was a foreman working on a railroad. You know, overtime and all that shit. He didn't even really do overtime like that. As a matter of fact, I never saw my stepdad go to work if it rained or if it snowed. Ever. Like, nope. We got this day off. He worked for the railroad, CSX, Conrail, wherever they got track at, he worked. And, you know, he made good money. Made really good money. Troy says, Oh, okay. You just give me shout outs. That's what's up. That's what's up. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. But yeah, college, the army, getting a job or what? Or what? It's the what. It's the or what that concerns me the most. Because so many teenagers can lose their way after school, after they finish high school. But I would like to first give them praise and congratulations for finishing high school, because not everybody does it. Everybody didn't do it in my day. Everybody doesn't do it today. But when you really think about it, think about the youth that you know nowadays that don't or won't get their high school diploma. How they doing? How they doing? Think about it. Now, we talk about how expensive college is now and how it doesn't guarantee that you will get a job that's even good enough for you to pay back your student loans and all of that. Yeah, we talk about all of that stuff, but look at the state of our young people who don't even graduate high school. Where are they? Where are they? What are they doing? What are they doing? I tell you where the high school dropouts around my way, I tell you what they doing. They standing on a corner. They stand on the corner selling something. Hardly ever leaving the corner. Running from the cops. Hiding their product. Ducking rival crews coming through, trying to spray up the block every now and then. Now, that hasn't happened in a few years. But the fact that I can even say it. Johnny West, what up, my dude? Says a cubicle is smaller than a jail cell. When do you think about it? Shoot, yeah, a cubicle is smaller than a jail cell, but at least there's only one person in that cubicle. And you're free to call in and out in that cubicle. Shoot, back when I was in school, getting an office job was that work. Like, you got an office job? Like, in an office? Like, you got an office? Yeah, not having a high school diploma right now, I hate to be stereotypical about it, but more than likely, if you don't have a high school diploma right now, you're either working some really, really low-paying wage job, or you're selling drugs, or you're on drugs, or you are on your way to jail, or you're in jail. Which one of y'all have sat inside a criminal court for more than a few hours or a whole day? It's an eye-opening experience. It's an eye-opening experience for real. When I was fighting my DUIs, all day, I'm sitting in the courtrooms. Well, not all day, but sometimes it would take an hour or two, maybe even 3. And I would listen to the judge ask the questions of whoever the defendants were. And the one question that he asked everybody, what grade did you finish of school? What level of school have you finished? Have you completed? And I would hear high school dropout after high school dropout after high school dropout after high school dropout. 10th grade, 8th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade, but not graduating. That's how far they went. Then they dropped out, never completing it. I would hear that all day. Is there a connection between not finishing high school and criminal activity? It sure was something to it in all those courtrooms I've been in. There was something to it. Do you know how proud I was to step up to the bench? And when he asked me what level of school I graduated, I was like, bachelor's degree, college, motherfucker. Even though I'm here fighting two, 3 DUIs and shit. I might be an irresponsible drinker and driver, but that ain't because I'm no dummy. I got a father too. I literally felt that way. Literally. Johnny West says, I have a theory about your name versus how far away you are from your name. Oh, you said if you got a name tag on your shirt, your job ain't shit. If you got a name on your desk further away from you, now you're moving up. Do your name wait a minute, do your name? Okay, if your name is on your building, then you make money. Now you make money. Interesting. Okay. All right. You might be on to something with that. You might be on to something. I don't know though, but I don't know, because I've had jobs where even the management had to wear name tags.
You have a call from
Troy.
Troy? Is that you, Troy?
Hey.
Hey, how's it going?
It's T-Deezy in the Pleasy. Trying to let you know I'm on the Sheezy.
Oh, bizarre.
I'm with Sun 752 Easy.
That's Sun 75 TZ.
With the Heezy.
No Deezy. No Deezy. What's going on, my brother? What's up, man?
Nothing much, man. How the live stream going today? Family, man.
Everything is good. So, what do you think about what we're talking about this afternoon?
Well, first and foremost, before I jump into the first part, I wanted to elaborate on what you was talking about. Today's kids, and I think, and just a part of me feel as though that the system has failed them. Meaning the city. Back in the day when we was kids, we had the summer program where we can go out there and get jobs.
True.
You know what I mean? And it prepared us for the workforce. It gave us an avenue to make some coin. Summer program. It also took a little bit of the responsibility off your mom, because when you was out there working, you didn't have to go to ask mom for money, and she can take care of whatever she has to take care of and allow you to keep your little coin that you was getting to do whatever you wanted to do during the summer. And then towards the end of the summer, you pretty much stacked up enough money to help buy your school clothes if you was responsible enough. You know what I mean? Because my mom used to be like, you stack up half, I'll give you more than half when you go buy clothes, and then you cool. You know what I mean? But now with the city sitting up here, they worrying about building a new Sixer stadium. They worrying about everything but the right thing. So then they want to wonder why these kids out here doing everything they want to do. Because we're not providing them with access to be productive. We're not providing them with access of getting jobs and stuff like that. We're making it difficult for them. I'm from Philly. We from Philly. Just like when they closed down Bach. Why would you close down a trade school knowing how important trades are? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Why would you make that decision to shut down trades? Now let's think about it. Right now they building heavy in Philly. They building houses. That's internships right there. That's plumbing. That's contracting.
Facts.
That's welding. That's everything in one thing that you can do. That could have been a bunch of internships for the summertime for these kids, but instead y'all shut the schools down. So now when they out there robbing, trying to make ends meet because they don't want to kiss mom's ass and they doing stupid shit, we can blame the parent, but we also got to blame ourselves. Not ourselves, meaning us. I'm talking about the city people, the city council and the mayor and even some part of the governor. Because at the end of the day, it takes a village to raise these kids. So when you take that part away from them, right, and you don't help provide them with outside entities to provide for themselves, what do you think they're going to do? You know, and that's one thing. Another thing is I would never recommend my child to go to the Army, especially right now. Never. I would never tell my son, my child, my daughter, a friend of the family. I would never tell anybody's child, that Army is not for you to fight. The armed services is not our armed services. I always remember when my uncle was talking about going to fight in Vietnam, and he came home, and the way they still treated him when he came home from fighting for this so-called country, you know, still this was segregation was still not as rampant, but it was still there because he lived down south at the time, so it was still parts of it that was still there. Them sundown cities was still there. So you out here fighting for this government, and yet you still feel like that you're not part of the government. You know, you still feel parts of slavery still going on within this government. So I mean, I would never recommend that, especially with Donald Trump being in office right now. I would never do that. You know, and then you turn back around. Yes, trades. The work is a more responsible thing right now. Now, if you have a thought in your head about doing something, going right to college, then do so. But prepare yourself while you're in college to work in your field. Do some internships. Do some homework in the field that you're doing. So when you graduate, you have a job. Just don't go in there and get the bachelor degree and get your master, get all this other stuff, and then you turn back around and you don't have no job in your field. You got to work harder. You have to make them decisions based on why you're there. Don't go to college just because you want to pledge and you want to party all the time, and yet you're getting the grades, but you're not putting the work in for the trade or the craft or your career that you want to be in. You know, and 9 times out of 10, you go to college and you get that paper and you get a job in the field that you got the bachelor in. You didn't even get that job. You got a job in a different job. I got a degree in electrical engineering, but yet I'm a chef for a living, and I love that way more than that. So I mean, we have to, you know, we have to assume responsibility. We as in the higher ups, the people that want to sit back and make decisions for this city, you know, and then it's also up to us as parents, man. You know, you did a tremendous job with your daughter. A tremendous job, and I applaud you on that. You know what I'm saying? You got baby girl through high school, and she's in college. So you and her mother made that decision to do a tremendous job. There's some parents out here that want to be their child's friend instead of being their child. You can be their friend. I mean, being a parent, you can be their friend, but you better let it be known that yes, we can you know, party and have fun. But when I sit up here and I tell you something to do, you better do it. You better get it done, or the consequences are going to be significant. You know, so I mean, at the end of the day, we you know, I would rather have my kids have a trade or trades and be out there working to try to get something in their field, opposed to just going straight to college and not knowing. But if that is their decision, but I'll be damned if I tell you go into service. No, I can't do that.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have the same view of the service as you do, but I understand where you're coming from. My thing is this. I think about the people that I know that have served. And I ain't gonna lie, man. I mean, almost everybody I know that has served in the Army from our generation is doing well.
Yes, I know that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and one thing I do appreciate, like, if you take away the social aspect or the conscious aspect of the military, one thing the military gives to young people that is really, really missing is it takes away all your feelings of entitlement. None of that. You ain't entitled to shit. You ain't gonna get nothing. Even if you work for it, you might not get it. But what you not gonna think, what you not gonna do is run around here thinking that anybody owes you anything. Because you're gonna get it's gonna be proven to you day in, day out, night in and night out that no, don't nobody owe you shit. You chose to come here, and the only way you're gonna stay here or benefit from here is if you really, really, really want it. Because we're gonna yell in your face. We're gonna basically break you all the way down and build you up to our standards. So you're gonna be stronger than you ever were, more disciplined than you ever were, more humble than you ever were, and more skilled than you ever were. The Army, even though the Army is the security force for the United States, not everybody fights, and we have to remember that you get job placement in the Army just like you do in college. The better you do on that entrance exam, the better the job that you're going to get. So if you went in there as a genius and you bust the ASVAB out, you're going to get a better job. You're not going to go straight to those front lines. The people who go to the front lines in the Army are the ones who either who their aptitude either warranted that or that's what they chose. Like they was on some old America, yeah, I want to fight for this country, all that. And there's a lot of people that like that. But like my brother, he took the ASVAB and he aced it. He killed it. So he had a nice, soft job in the Army, getting paid, and he was able to move up in the Army. Never took no college classes. Didn't use it for that. But the people that I know who did use the Army or the Navy or the Air Force, the military for to go to college, don't owe no loans. None. Full ride. And that's whether they wanted to pursue their bachelor's, their master's, and they were able to do better in college because of their military training, because the discipline is key. You're not able to make it through basic training without being disciplined. But out here on these streets, yeah, you're going to be undisciplined as fuck and entitled as fuck, thinking that your parents should have done this, thinking that the world should have done this. Oh, the school should have done this. Parents who go to school have kids who go to school because they insist on it. I don't know no college graduate parents who don't insist on their kids I'm going to college. Like, nah, you doing this. You know what I mean? Even, okay, let's say you don't go to college. You're going to do something. What you ain't going to do is you ain't going to be sitting your ass around here drinking, smoking, fucking, and bullshitting. We ain't having that. So you got a choice. School, military, job. That's it. Now you choose. You can form them all into one. Go in the military, go to college, get a job. But the military that's the best training area in the United States. Hands down. Hands down. You talk about electricity or whatever. You can go to college for that shit, learn that shit in the military. You're going to be a pro. You're going to be an expert. That's what I should say. A pro is just somebody who gets paid, but an expert is somebody who knows what the fuck they're doing. And so you got the Army Corps of Engineers or whatever, but your aptitude and your energy and your drive will determine whether you just pick up an M16 and go out there and fight. Well, this ain't Vietnam no more, so you probably ain't using an M16. There's very little hand-to-hand combat anymore. But I didn't go to the military, but I know a lot of families where all of they family members go into the military, male and female. That's just what they do. Mm-hmm. I ain't mad at it. You know what I mean? But I understand your argument too.
I'm not. I'll put it to you like this. Last year I recently found out, because my grandfather passed away in 1985. and I went to my grandmother's gravesite, and I found out that my grandfather fought in World War II, and he was a staff sergeant. So, I was very proud to know that about my grandfather, but I also, at the end of the day, every time I see somebody or I know somebody that's a veteran, I always commend them and thank them for their service. Or when I'm working in a restaurant as a sous chef, and I see a veteran, I'll comp their breakfast or their lunch. Because at the end of the day, you have to show that respect and appreciation for what they do. My whole thing about it is that I just don't. My opinion about it is that I don't think that today's youth. I don't know. Now maybe our generation, that's different. But today's youth going into service with this man being in office, I don't think that's a good move. You know what I'm saying? I don't think because when you got a person that's that makes decisions based on stupidity, you don't want your children into that. You know what I'm saying?
No,
that's the most important.
I understand what you're saying, but the thing about the thing you have to consider if you going into the military is that you might have to fight. If you scared to fight or if you're afraid to die, then you don't need to go into the military. That comes along with it. But the benefit. Well,
let's just hypothetically
hold on. The benefit. Yeah, I just want to get out this thought. The benefit, the cross benefit, I should say, of going into the military. If you do go into the military, you fight and you still come home, you could have the detriment of the PTSD, and you could also have the benefit of knowing that you can make it through whatever. Or if you go into the military thinking that, I'm probably going to have to fight and I'm going to die and all this shit, and then it doesn't happen, then it could have a positive effect on your calculation of how things could turn out. So it could be very good for your anxiety. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like where you may be the type of person that panics whenever they see trouble, or when the fight or flight syndrome kicks in, but you're trained in the military to fight against the fight or flight thing. It's like, no, wait. First of all, you're trained to defend yourself. And personally, I would like every single person in the United States to have military training. You don't necessarily have to go into the military, but we should never fear a threat from another country because of how ruthless we think they are. And in smaller countries, they mandate military services because they don't have enough people to have people who can pick and choose whether they want to fight or not. You know what I mean? So they say, look, everybody getting this, then you can go to college or whatever. But in terms of times of conflict, you should not be afraid of an enemy coming on your soil or being a threat to you, because you like, nah, I know how to use my shit, and so do my babies. Everybody is ready, strapped, and skilled. So we don't have to be the aggressors, but we be goddamn if we going to be the cowards. So, I just wanted to say that part.
Yeah, well, and the last thing I'm going to speak on is like, when you sit back, when I think about the service and the irresponsibility part of having to go to war, I think of the Iraq War with George W. Bush, not his father, right? And I think about that to the point where he sent he sent these people, these kids, or sent our troops over there to fight for weapons against mass destruction, and there was none. So just imagine how many of the young men and women we lost due to the fact of him being irresponsible.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not right towards them. I honestly think that if they should put in law that if a president make a decision to go to war, then he should be made the decision. Once he makes that decision, his kids have to go to war too. Because at the end of the day, that will make your mind make the right decision based on what's important. If my child got to go, your child got to go.
Mm.
He or she ain't gonna sit her ass home and watch living on a high life while my child out here fighting for this country. He can't reap the rewards of coming home and being appreciated. You know. So I mean that's just I feel that way because just think about it. I still believe George W. Bush should be brought up on war crimes considering what he did, how he went about that. You know, 22 of the people that did that to America on 9/11 came from Saudi Arabia. And you just seen Donald Trump just set up a damn plane and kiss the ring of a Muslim, and considering he don't even like Muslim countries. So I mean, at the end of the day, man, I just wouldn't want my children or my nieces or my nephews in the war. And right now, after this, when we get somebody that's in office that's responsible, then that's a different story.
But all presidents have a conflict that has to be dealt with. So there is no prolonged peacetime. We're never going to have 4 years where nobody is fighting anybody.
No, I agree with you with that. But at the end of the day, there's no prolonged peacetime, and there's asinine irresponsibility, and that's the difference. We've never had prolonged peacetime, but if you sit back and you just send our troops, like this man was talking about, you know, if Palestine don't come to the table and talk with Israel, then I'm gonna send the troops and we're gonna take Gaza. That's irresponsible. Now you putting our troops in harm's way. That's the part I'm talking about.
Okay. All right. Let me ask you this. Have you ever been on a job where you agreed with all of the policies on a job?
No, I have never been on a job where I agree with all the policies on the job.
Okay, but you still had to do the job?
Right.
Okay. Well, what separates that from the military?
What separates that from the military is this. If I'm in harm's way, meaning that if I'm out there on the battlefield, or if I'm flying helicopters, or if I'm flying F-150s, or if I'm doing that, then I'm in harm's way. But me following the responsibilities on the job is not going to kill me. I'm not going to die. I'm not going to come back home to post-traumatic stress disorder. I'm not going to come home with a flag draped over my coffin.
Okay.
Big difference.
Okay. Well. Okay. That may be a difference on some jobs because people have died on some jobs and they have had hazardous conditions on certain jobs or whatever.
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
But on any job, just like the military, and don't get me wrong, y'all, I'm not trying to cape for the military. I just, look at things in a certain type of way. I can see where anyone would have hesitation or reservations about joining the military, but I can also understand what people get out of it. So what I'm saying is, the military prepares you to be hurt. It also prepares you to hurt. It is what it is. Just like any job that you're on, they train you for whatever that job is. You could take a job like even housekeeping. You figure, all right, that's a safe job. This is a job that most people don't want to do. It's definitely a job that no parents ever encourage their kids to do after school. Like, oh yeah, you gonna clean houses or clean buildings for the rest of your life. That's not how that goes. But so they'll train you about how to not get hurt at work. How not to strain your back, mess up your legs. I don't know, get carpal tunnel or mixing chemicals. It's a big deal. Shoot, how many people work in housekeeping that bring products from their crib. You know what I mean? Like, oh, this stuff that they give us ain't strong enough. And I'm like, so you brought your household products to the job? Yeah, because this shit really worked. I'm like, yeah, but do you know how much trouble that could get you in and get the company in or whatever? But I'm saying, anyway, so you can train people all you want. Will they use their training? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. But that doesn't take away from the fact that you did prepare them for what they're getting into, and they knew the job before they got into it. You know, whenever a child shows interest in joining the military, you know, that always raises the antennas of most parents. Like, you sure that's what you want to do? You know what I mean? Well, you know, talk to your uncle. He did this, or your grandfather. He did, or your dad. I don't know. You know, why don't you do this? You know, there's normally a conversation that ensues when children, male or female, decide that they want to go into the military. But when they make it out of the military, you know, they have a lot of benefits. Or if they stay and work in the military, because I've known career military vets, shit, they be sitting pretty when they get out of there. They do their little 20 years, retire, and getting a check at 40, 42 years old. You know what I mean? Like, that shit nice. Shit nice. You know what I mean? And now, of course, we have problems with the benefits, the VA, you know, they fucking with it and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, you'd be hard pressed to find a military vet that retired. Let me just put it this way. It's a very, very good place to retire from. Very, very good. And the longer you stay in, the less likely you'll have to fight, because you're valuable in other ways now. You ain't gonna be like John Rambo doing tour after tour after tour until you finally fuck up a small town. But anyway, but yeah, you know.
So what do you think about what I said about the city council and the mayor's office, letting our children down with the summer jobs and stuff?
Honestly, I don't blame the city for anything that happens with our children. Parenting is supposed to circumvent all of that shit. You know, when we were growing up, our parents made us work. You want Adidas? Job. You want extra food in this refrigerator? Job. Oh, you want some Guess jeans? Job. Two-tone leaves? Job. Stonewash jeans? Job. Oh, you want to take your girl to the movies, and you want to go to these concerts? And job. That's what you need to do. And you can't find a job, well, I'll find a job for you. They knew this person, that person. They sometimes they would have you work on their job. Oh yeah, well you can sweep up here or do something on the weekends. I hooked it up with my boss. Make sure you have your ass here after school every day, and I'll drive you home. You do your homework and all that kind of shit. Our parents looked out. So even though we had fill a job, it was our parents pushing us to go to fill a job. We wanted shit.
But now, think about it, right? And I agree with you 1,000% on what you're saying. But the thing about it is that the school system towards the and I know when I was in school, towards the end of the school year, they would let you know. They would let you know, or they would give paperwork out stating that fill a job is there. Or your counselor, when you go to a counselor's meeting, they will bring that up to you. So right then and there, you knew that you can go get a job right there at the end of the school year. Yeah, and right, your mother and your father, or they will push you to go get a job, right? But that's because it was out there. Fill a job was out there. Right now, there is nothing out there other than trying to get a job at a McDonald's, which is not a problem, or Burger King, or a fast food restaurant, or anything outside that realm, where as though you can do that. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, if it's not presented to them, and it's not an offer, or you don't have an opportunity to do it, then it takes away. The city did not help provide that outlet. It's like closing down libraries, or closing down playgrounds. once you take away the bare necessities of what can provide these kids with outlets. And I'm not saying that that's the most important. That's one of the most important things, but it's important enough to give them room for financing themselves doing their own thing and not worrying about. Let's hypothetically say this. I always say this: if you got to work at a job for 8 hours, by the time you get done work, you're too tired to do any stupid shit. So by the time these kids get done work, some of them will have to either they're gonna be too tired, they're gonna come home, they're gonna get something to eat, they're gonna bug out a little bit with their friends. But 9 times out of 10, they're gonna be in the house chilling, trying to play their game and get some rest for work the next day.
Okay.
These kids, and that's the avenues. Now, I agree with you with what you said. Yes, it is on us as parents, us as parents, to do our due diligence.
Parents, I like that.
Huh?
Parents, we're gonna use that one from now on. Parents. I'm fucking with it.
It is up to us for us to do that. But it's also up to consider we pay our taxes and they take our money and they do what they got to do with our money for this city. It's also up to them to provide the tools for our children to be guided in ways where they can be assistant in job growth and starting that job growth. Ours started at 14 years old. You know what I mean? We couldn't wait to turn 14 to get our first job.
Mm-hmm.
We couldn't wait.
No, I think we agree. I think what you're talking about is resources, and I think we
there you go.
We agree. We definitely agree that there should be resources, and they have definitely reduced the number and the way our resources are set up. They have done that, and way to our young people's detriment. But we are our children's first resource, and
definitely.
But this is where we've been fucking up. These parents nowadays don't even encourage their kids to work. You know how many parents in our generation X that I know talking about something? I don't want my kids to work. They ain't gonna do nothing but work for the rest of their lives out of high school. I just want them to concentrate on their schoolwork. I'm like, well, are they going to college after school work? After school? No. Then what the fuck? Why wouldn't you want them to have a head start? That's like saying, I don't want my kids to start reading before they go to school because they're going to have to read for the next 12 years. It don't make no sense. So hold on.
No, I'm not going to cut you off. Go ahead.
Okay. So we are our kids' first resource and first inspiration. And so if we are already bringing our kids, many of us are picking up our kids and dropping them right off at the entitlement center and then wondering why they entitled. Why they acting like that? Why they don't know how to do nothing? Why they don't act like they want to learn how to do anything? Yet at the same time, we told them they ain't got to do nothing. Sit back, relax, and chill. You ain't got to do shit. And as far as education, job training, and all of that, we are our kids' first resource. What do we do with our kids to prepare them for the workforce later on? We give them chores to do. Whether you got to clean, take out the trash, cut the grass, you know what I mean? Whatever it is around the house that they are instructed to do and obligated to do, we are in effect preparing them for the workforce ahead because they are going to have to do these things at wherever job that they work. And it's the process, the work ethic that we are instilling in them. So if we don't make them do that shit, if we think, let's say just by chance we have all this guilt because we wanted to raise our children in a 2-parent family and it didn't work out, so we either got divorced or separated or broken up from the other parent and whatever, and we looking at our kids and we feeling like we failed them. So in our guilt and our feelings of guilt instead of making them do what we know they're going to need to do later on. We be like, we just do it ourselves and shit because we feel like, damn, you know, I grew up in a 2-parent family or whatever, or that's what I really wanted, or I grew up in a single parent family and I really wanted them to have better than me and I didn't succeed in making it better than me. So I'm going to let them go on everything else that they're probably going to need to know. I'm going to need to know and learn or do because I don't feel like it's fair for me to put everything on them when I didn't do what I needed to do to be the springboard for them. All right. I'm saying all of this to set up to say this. The same way we give our kids chores to do, we are preparing them for the workforce. If we fail to give them chores or responsibilities, then we fail to prepare them to work for themselves or to work for anybody. Because if you don't have discipline in one area, it's going to be hard to learn discipline in another area.
Definitely.
And the other thing is, hold on a second.
You have a call from.
We are preparing them for the workforce.
I bet that turn that shit down.
You have a call from.
Yo, turn down your device. All right. My bad. Okay. So what I was saying, what I wanted to say is this. Just like I was saying, we are our children's first resource. We're also our children's first boss. It starts with us. You know what I mean? So if we aren't good bosses, if we aren't good employers, if we aren't good supervisors and managers, then we're not doing what we need to do. But what I really want to say is this. What the schools won't do for our kids, we gotta do for them.
Most definitely.
What the world won't do for our kids, we gotta do for them. So here's my challenge to anybody listening to what I got to say. I want to ask you, whatever you do for a living, does your child know how to do it? Because you don't have to send your child to go to school to learn what you can teach them to do for free. You a plumber, your children should know plumbing. You an electrician, your children should know electricity. You a carpenter, your children should know carpentry. Whether they want to do it for a living or not, that's their choice. But they got a choice now. So whether they went to a vocational school or whether they went to college or whether they did anything, you got their back. You got it. I don't care if you a chef. I don't care if you a housekeeper. I don't care if you are a secretary or what they call administrative assistant or whatever. Whatever job you have, your children should know how to do that job because you can teach them to do that shit for free. Free training. And you ain't got to get up to get dressed or nothing. I'm going to teach you how to do that shit right now. And you know what else I can do for you? If I'm a tradesman, I can tell you how to get paid today. If I know electricity, well, this is what I'm going to teach you how to do. I'm going to teach you how to do nothing but change light fixtures and motherfucking outlets and light switches. I'm going to show you how to do that. And then we're going to go up and down the block, knock on everybody's door and ask them, do they have light fixtures that they would like put up for cheap? Everybody. And guess how many blocks, just how much money in discovery we're going to make if we go just down all the blocks around the way and say, or ding dong, excuse me, ma'am, my name is such and such and such, and I'm a budding electrician or a plumber or whatever. If you have any leaky sinks, or if you have outlets that don't work, or light switches that don't work, or they're hanging off or whatever, I can fix those for you for just a little bit of money. Whatever you think is worth, you know what I mean? Just let me fix these things for you. My dad or my mom taught me how to do this, and I'm doing this for the people in my neighborhood just to give back or whatever. So you can give me whatever you think is that I deserve for the work, but I'm going to take care of that for you.
You know, but the first thing that I did with my children, me and my wife did with our children, my children, is it starts with school, and that's their job. Before they even make a decision on, we teach them about any other job. When chores and homework. Listen, when you come home, you do your homework, you do your chores, you do your homework, and then you can relax. That's your job. If I tell you put the trash out, I'm gonna tell you one time, 2 times, that's it. 3rd time, either you're gonna be disciplined in a different way, or you're not gonna get no allowance. So it's either you teaching them by teaching them that way.
Hold on a second. Hold on.
You have a call.
Hold on. My
From.
Okay.
Hello?
All right, go ahead, Troy.
You know, about when you teach them that way, it gets to the point where that's the beginning stages of showing responsibility and giving them work ethic. And you show them how to do it, and that way they know how to do it. All my children, I'm a chef, and all my children know how to cook.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone, even down to my twins.
But
when I'm in the kitchen, they come in the kitchen and they watch me cook.
Right. But what I'm saying is, we can get our kids into the workforce, and we can get their entrepreneurial spirit, you know what I mean, to levels never seen before. Because like I said, when older people love when young people are doing something decent and something positive. They love that shit. They eat it up. So, like I said, if you teach your child how to do your job, I don't care whether you in business for yourself or whether you work for somebody else. You teach them how to work for somebody else and how to work for themselves simultaneously. And like I said, you don't have to do the whole thing. Like I said, light switches, leaky faucets. Yeah, you go up and down. Down. I don't care what neighborhood you live in. Somebody got a leaky sink. Somebody got a J bin or a trap under their sink that ain't right or whatever. Somebody got a bucket under their kitchen sink, bathroom sink or some shit, or a toilet that keep running or whatever. You can teach your kids how to do these little things, and they can go and get paid.
Let me give you some insight on something, son. My middle son, right? He draws a lot, and he does a lot of artwork, and it's just sitting in the closet. So I told him, I said, you sit back and you complain about the fact that you don't want to work for nobody no more. I said, you got a closet full of artwork that if you just make a website, you can be selling art, or people will order you and commission you to come and paint their kids' room. But instead of doing that part, you rather go in and work for somebody instead of putting that work in to work for yourself. So don't come to me and your mom talking about, I'm tired of working. You got an avenue out. Your skill and your talent is your avenue out. So don't sit. You can't do that. Don't. When we're on your side trying to guide you and trying to help you, don't sit back and fall back because you don't want the help. Because us as parents, we supposed to guide you in the right direction to benefit you financially. So, some kids you sit back and you try to tell them what to do and teach them work ethic and teach them this, that, and other. And then some kids can sit back and say, I want to learn this on my own. And that's what and he's a terrific son. But I wish you would wake up and understand that you can work on your own.
No, that's cool, but we're talking about high school graduates, and we're talking about at a transitional time in their lives where they're going to have to make life decisions. Now, whether they want to do something for now or whether they want to do something for the future, because when you're 18 years old, you really think you know what you want to do, but you really don't. You have so much more maturing, you have so much more learning and growing and developing to do, but we can set our children up to have something right now, so they don't have to, they won't necessarily have to rely on going to school. They won't have to necessarily rely on going into the military, even though I think school, military, or job is okay. But if they're gonna go right out into the workforce, then they should already have the workforce ready for them to come and work for them, not trying to prepare for the workforce. All right, call up with the last number is 1132. I'm still hearing a lot of noise. I don't know if you standing in front of a fan or something like that, but I'm hearing a bunch of woof, 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 like somebody throwing frisbees by your head. Are you ready?
Yeah, don't be difficult with me today.
Look, you already messed up. You know what I mean? You already messed up. So you're going to have to bring me down from 10. I'm on 10. I need you to bring me down to 5.
All right. I'm just, I understand what you're saying. I'm talking about the topic, and parents are the resources of, training their child how to get out into the workforce. But my thing of it is, can they stick with it? And because some of them will stick with it and then they'll go astray. Or you got some of them think they got it there by themselves. My mother showed me the way to go. Used to work. I've been working there since I was 15. I had a job at 21, 15. Been paying bills ever since. I'm sticking with it. Yeah, but I have some people in my family. They doing really good. Young people doing really good because we showed them the way to go. But then you got some that stray away from it and act like they didn't get no help or nothing like that.
Okay, so hold on. Hold on. We talking about high school graduates. Did everybody in your family graduate high school?
Everybody graduated high school.
Okay.
We got some that's coming up graduating high school.
That's what's up. All right. So by percentage or whatever, or however you want to break it down, how many of y'all chose to, like, what do most of the people in your family do after they graduate high school?
They went to college and then they went into the military. My people went to either the on the police side, prison guard, or electrician.
Those are the jobs they chose to work at?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. Okay. So you said they went to college first, then the military?
Some let's see how it worked. Some went to the military, some went to, I don't know how they did it, but they did both.
No, that's cool, because if you go to college first, then you go in the military, then you more than likely start off as an officer. Like, yeah, okay.
But it's so funny how my big cousin, he served, he did college, and then he was a police officer, and then his baby mama she was like a police guard, but their daughter went a whole different direction. She did the work of his wife. She started, she went to college, and then she got into engineering.
Mm-hmm.
And so we got one coming up. I don't know which way she's going in. Only thing I'm just saying is sometimes you could install a child, but it's still going to be up. It's going to be up to that child after they get grown, whether they're going to continue to listen to that parent or not.
Mm-hmm.
Because they got so many voices outside that's going to be in the world.
Yeah.
And they care to go a different direction.
I agree. Now, when you think about when you think about today's youth, like the class of 2025, do you think that there's a big difference between the kids who are graduating high school today and the kids who were graduating when you got out of school?
Yeah.
What would you say those differences are?
My opinion, I think some of them are lost.
Okay. Lost in what way?
Lost where they want everything so easy. They want things easy to come to them, and some don't want to, put the work in.
Okay.
Yeah, some don't want to put the work in. Some don't want to listen.
Mm-hmm.
And just because I'm not doing nothing right now because of my health, that don't mean I'm not. That don't mean I'm not hustling. That don't mean I'm not. Getting something extra. You know what I'm saying, to help me.
Yeah. I mean, you might hustle on the side. What you got, like an OnlyFans or something?
No, I'm not saying that. No, I ain't got none of that.
You sell dinners. You sell dinners on the weekend.
No, I just know how to get my stuff up, and I have my little stuff. I got apps on this page, and I ain't trying to give them my insight. Only my friends know what's going on with me. But God is blessing me. Trust and believe I'm getting mine on. And my mama put that work ethic in me, and I'm very responsible. I have to pay these bills. It's just me.
Okay. So what would you hold on. What would you tell a 2025 high school graduate these days? What advice would you give them as far as working or their future is concerned? What would you tell them?
To continue to work, do what they need to do to get to where they want to go, and don't give up. Don't never give up what they got in their heart. Don't give up, and try not to listen to different voices that's not pulling them the way that they need to go, that they want to go.
Okay, so with all of the stuff that they have going on with young people these days, how do you expect to let them know what's this might sound crazy, but how do you let today's youth know the difference between right and wrong?
Can I elaborate on that?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go back to, I'm gonna answer that. Before I answer that, I want to say what you just asked the question about this generation and last generation. I would tell them to focus more on what they need to do right now and understand not to be a follower or be a leader. I think there's a lot of followers these days. There's not a lot of leaders in this generation. I think there's a lot of followers. That's why you have so many situations going on in society where these kids is killing each other, some getting locked up, some doing so much stupid shit that they're following behind their friends. So when one do it, everybody become accomplices. And also the difference between us back then and them now is that, like I said, there were outlets for us. We weren't in the house playing damn arcade games or Xboxes all the time. Other than we did have Atari and we had ColecoVision, and then we had, the Nintendo stuff and everything. But before all that, we had each other. We was out there playing basketball. We was playing sports. We was going to house parties. We was enjoying life. And we had jobs when the summertime comes. And some of them summertime jobs turned into after school jobs. So this generation doesn't have those type of avenues, but they have to listen to what their parents got to tell them. We got to create. We have to help you create avenues. All right, well, let's go down here and see if this place hiring. Let's go down here and see if that place hiring. Give them other outlets. And the other question, what was that question? The last question you just asked, son?
How
would you know right from wrong? I don't have a OnlyFans page. You will know the difference. So, yeah.
And another thing is, Yes, I would teach them right. They would know right from wrong because they have to be. That comes through their upbringing. You gonna have to teach them right from wrong. Whether it's going either they're gonna learn it from you or they're gonna learn it from the street or they're gonna learn it from the cops. But
Yeah.
they're going to learn. They're going to learn. So it starts at childhood.
Yeah, it starts at childhood. And I can tell my mother used to instill in me the difference between right and wrong. I used to tell her, okay, she wouldn't want me to walk in some of her footsteps, but I told her, I said, even if I do walk in your footsteps, Mom, those are not your footsteps. Those are my mistakes. I had to learn the difference from my mistakes, and so far so good. I'm still, walking the way I need to walk. I haven't did what my mother did, but I had some struggles that I had to go through that I've seen my mother go through. Some of them I passed and some of them I haven't.
Okay.
They'll learn as they go. But first of all, I think a great help between learning wrong and right, you have to have some kind of religion in front of you that will help you learn.
Okay. Well, what I meant by how do you explain the difference between right or wrong to today's youth is that because of the influence of the internet and social media and even the leaders of this country, wink the fuck wink, you know what I mean? Like the lines of what's good and what's bad and what's right and wrong have been so blurred. It's not, it's not as right and wrong, good and bad is not as black and white as it used to be. Now it's okay to, hold on. With some people, it's okay to steal. As long as you stole enough that even if you got locked up, it was worth it. It's okay to lie. It's okay to lie as long as you got out of trouble when you lied. It's okay to betray somebody or turn your back on somebody. After all, they ain't doing nothing for you. They ain't what they say. You ain't paying none of my bills. So, like,
I'm just saying, I want to say this. I seen something on TV the other day about a young 25-year-old girl. If I had a daughter that was 25 years old and it was something her life was good and going into a great direction, and somebody was picking with her, and they wanted to meet up to fight, right? I would say avoid that fight because nowadays kids don't fight, young people don't fight, they carry guns. Why would you want to mess up your future carrying a gun and shooting at everybody and then there your future gone because of a bully, trying to try you? You have to avoid certain situations. And that's what I mean, you got to know right from wrong. You don't want to put yourself in danger or mess up your whole life. And I'm going through temptation like that at 54. So you can imagine what a 25-year-old would go through. Would do something. You working hard for your stuff, but they want to take your stuff that you worked hard for.
Yeah, but listen, what we talking about today? What we talking about today are these kids. We already had our chances. We made the decisions that we made. We did what we did, and we are the way we are. But what's going to help these? Now, my primary focus is selfishly on the class of 2024 because that's when my baby graduated. But that doesn't mean I can ignore 2025, 2026, and whatever comes in the future because these kids need help. But I think that
I was telling you, I wasn't just talking about myself. I was giving a scenario about young people, how there is peer pressure and it's bullies and all this other stuff. And I'm just saying you have to stay focused on your goals because the enemy will try to knock you off your goals.
Okay. So no, that's cool. But what I'm asking is what can we do? Because I think the resources for them and the answers for them are way closer than we give it credit for. But we can't rely on We can't. The more days go by, the more that we see that the government is not doing nothing for us. They're not going to save us. They're not even here to appease us anymore. You know what I mean? Look at what's going on. Look at what's going on with us politically. You see the things that are written into that Project 2025 shit, which is basically the blueprint for that big beautiful bill shit. That all of those things that were supposed to be for us, those helpful things, it's over. It's over. But what we're about to find out is that we didn't need them because we wasn't using that shit in the first place. And if we were using them, we were more than likely abusing them. And now we're going to have to learn how to fucking walk. Speaking of fucking walking, you know what I mean? I would liken this shit to, just because I have a car doesn't mean I should drive everywhere I go. Later on in life, when I don't have enough energy to walk places or get around very well, my mobility is fucked up, I'm probably going to be regretful that I drove everywhere instead of stretching my legs out, getting some good air in my lungs, and taking better care of myself. But we can't Monday morning quarterback our way through life, and we also cannot look to this government or anybody else to take care of our business and handle things for us. We can't do it. We can't do it. But like, we already know what we know, but we got to give our babies what we know. Shout out to all of them.
First and foremost, it's up to us to whatever the school doesn't teach our children, it's up to us as parents to teach them and to guide them in the right direction. Like, even with their history, they get the bare minimum of what they need to know about their history. It's up to us to guide them and teach them more about the history and tell them. And it's easier for them now than it was for us, because we had to go to the library with them. They just have to click a couple buttons and they right there to get to get more knowledge of self. You understand what I'm saying? That's first and foremost. Second of all, you have to teach them a work ethic. Look, this is how you do this. This is how you do that. And this all starts in the household. This is how you clean the bathroom. This is how you wash the dishes. This is how you fold the clothes and put them away. You teach them work ethic by doing those things that they would do in the household. Now, when it's time for them to get a job, now when they go to work, you teach them how to listen, how to troubleshoot. You teach them how to listen and make sure they can respect their elders or respect their bosses. And if there's any problems, then you talk to them. You let them become them. They come and tell you what's going on. And that way, if you need to talk to their boss and have a conversation with them together, because you want to give them an idea of how to troubleshoot situations with bosses. And at 14 and 15, they're not going to know how to do that, especially these days. These days, they might sit outside and wait for the boss to get done work and shoot them. So you have to teach them how to do certain situations. And you have to, very, very have to, two more things. First and foremost, as a parent, you have to check your kids' rooms. You have to invade their privacy, especially if they live in your house. Check their rooms, check their basements. Make sure, even if you want to be even more of an asshole, them check their cell phones. Because if they are being bullied or if they are being pulled into gangs and they are being in that position like that, they're not going to tell you. They're going to follow. So you have to sit back and invade their privacy to protect them, not just from themselves, but from the streets. But the work ethic and the way that you teach them and the way that you bring them up the right way. It's like I've taught my sons all the time. When you see a senior citizen walking down the street and they got their cart, you walk with them and help them get their stuff in the house. And if they offer you a tip, you don't accept the tip. If they offer 3-4 times and they say they want you to take it, then you take it and say, I appreciate it. If you need me for anything else, Miss Johnson, I live right here. Feel free to let me know. I taught all my children that, especially my sons.
And
so
also,
that's how you got that.
Only thing I was saying is that sometimes these kids go astray, and you just can't give up on them because sometimes they do go astray, but they come back. They definitely come back. You have to have a forgiving heart because parenting is not for the weak. These kids are raised different. It's a different generation. Their feelings are easily hurt. You know, they will. I don't experience where they have went astray, and I know that. I know how some kids have good hearts, and they do come back. But that's all I was just saying. You can put all you want to put in them. It'll be up to them to do what they need to do. And sometimes you don't want. I don't want to bring it in. I don't want to bring the spiritual side in, but you got to, because sometimes a parent can get back what they don't put out.
Now I'm thinking that with well, we're talking about high school graduates. So if they did the work to be able to graduate high school, then more than likely they're on a positive path. I don't know too many gang members that graduate high school, just being honest. I'm not saying that there aren't any, but what a fucking waste. You know what I mean? So you mean to tell me?
Well, let's think about what you talking about, son. We just had a young man this year had the highest SAT in the school.
Mm-hmm.
Was on the basketball team. Mm-hmm. A great ball player. Was getting ready to get, was pretty much on the verge of getting some scholarship from ball. And he had the highest SAT in school. Got shot in front of his mother, and it turns out that he was drill rapping and was in gangs and shooting people.
Okay.
Ooh. So it does happen. It can happen, and it does happen, even if we don't think it does.
I don't want to
I'm pretty sure we can both sit back and count on the hand how many people we knew graduated that shouldn't have been, and it was involved in situations she should have been involved with.
Yeah, but I don't want to make the exception the rule. I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? Because we don't have to do that. Sure, they're going to be outliers. They're going to be exceptions to the rule. They're going to be those who know better and didn't do better. I mean, many of those times that's been me. It may have been you too. You know what I mean? But for the majority, when like I said, sitting in those courtrooms and listening to the judge ask defendant after defendant after defendant after defendant after defendant after defendant after defendant what their highest level of school completed was, and it was no high school diplomas until me. That lets you know, yeah, you might fuck up after you get a diploma, but the real pool of fuck ups are in the ones who didn't finish. Now you also have to take into consideration the things that surround a young person that does not graduate high school. You got to think about the things that they're into that would influence them to drop out in the first place. Think about it. If everything is going all right and you're at home and you can do the schoolwork, you're not dropping out of school. Why would that even be an option? But if shit is fucked up at home, or you already have been forced to go out in the streets and get money and all of that, you know what I mean? Then dropping out of school is definitely going to be your first option. My thing is this. I'm not trying to spend all of my time trying to save those who are hell-bent on dying. I'm trying to save the ones who are hell-bent on or who are interested in living, help them to live better. I want to give them a chance. We spend a lot of time trying to save the ones that are determined to fuck up their lives and anybody else associated with them. Well, I don't want to do that. I want to make sure that the ones that are doing well get they just due. It's just like if I pay my cell phone bill every month, I should be eligible for discounts and upgrades and all of that shit. These new unproven motherfuckers that just came on your network, why they getting everything? Same as the cable company. So I ain't fucking with that. The ones who are already savable, I want to get them saved and secure and put them on the right path. Now, the ones that are fucking up, the ones that are committing social and well, basically committing social suicide and homicide, nah. We're going to have to deal with them anyway, but we're going to deal with them in the courts. We're going to deal with them in the jails and with the therapy that comes along with them. But they not sucking up all my energy. I ain't got time for that shit. It's not that I don't care about them, but they are stopping me from being able to push the good agenda forward for these motherfuckers that are doing the work. They need the attention. Because all we got to do with them is turn a few good screws and make sure that those screws are tight. Make sure that we painting inside of the lines. With these motherfuckers, we got to start all the way from the beginning. Well, what got you here? What got you to the dropout stage? What got you in these courts, in the court system? What got you in the precinct? What got you in front of the judge? What got you in the jail? We're going to have to deal with them, but I ain't putting them first. I ain't doing that. Nah, they get too much attention. So they can disappoint you time and time and time again. And yeah, I'm singing a different tune that I may have I'm sang in the last 30 years, but I'm sick of this shit. I'm sick of this shit. The good kids, they have to come first. We owe them. You know, it's just like if you had multiple children, you got 4 children, and you got two of them that are honor roll, one that's doing pretty good, and then you got this other one fucking up everything, poisoning the other 3. So you think that I'm going to spend all my time with the one that's fucking up the other 3? No, I'm going to get the other 3 straight first. I'm going to get them straight first. And then we're going to deal with this. We're going to deal with the one that was trying to fuck them up. Because then I ain't letting it happen. I ain't letting it happen. They not getting the rewards of attention and time and all of that shit. All of y'all got time and attention. But you want to listen to you want to listen to your friends. Y'all know everything. Y'all can do anything because you're smoking that weed and shit. And that shit is making you think that you know every fucking thing. That's what the new weed do, if you ask me. It's defiant. They smoking on defiant sticks. Back when we was growing up, the weed made you complacent. It made you fucking passive and shit. Now this shit got you arguing back and forth and talking about what you ain't gonna do, but you ain't doing shit else. And you the right one. Oh, I'm just mad because I couldn't make you do something. Well, I can make you do something like this. Get the fuck out of my house. You come back when you get your shit together. Anyway, we out of here. Listen, I appreciate both of y'all. I'm sick of this shit, dog.
You come to the pulpit and preach and say everything, and you ain't even put the collection plate out.
Man, I got a lot going on today, and I got shit on my mind that I don't want on it. You know what I'm saying? So listen, I appreciate y'all calling in. I appreciate y'all commentary, y'all insight as usual. I want y'all to have a great remainder of this afternoon. Stay positive, do the right things. Come back tomorrow at 1:30. We'll continue this shit.
All right. Have a good day.
Okay.
Much love, bro.
All right, man. Peace.
Bye.
All right, let's do the results of this poll, the poll question, and then we're going to do these birthday shout outs and get on up out of here. Let's see. On the poll, 23 votes in 2025. What is the generally best? I should have wrote this better. In 2025, what is generally the best option for a high school graduating teenager? 13% said going to college. Only 13%. Wow, man, sign of the times. 57% said learning a trade and working. 22% said joining the military. And 9% said starting their own online business. Interesting, man. Interesting. They only let me put four options on here. I would have put in some other options, had I had more space and and a chance to. But I mean, you know, out of 23 people, that's a small sample size, but it kind of shows, you know, where our thinking is these days based on the cards that we've been dealt. You know, so we really believe that learning a trade and going to work and busting your ass is the way to go. And I'm not saying that it isn't. I think that there should be more options on the table, more opportunities on the table, more resources on the table. But we have to give ourselves these resources. We have to give ourselves these resources. And we have to know that we are the resource. We are. Whatever you know how to do, you can show somebody else what to do. That's giving back. We always think that giving back it involves money or a whole lot of time. Okay, time, yes, but it doesn't have to be all your time. It doesn't have to be a whole lot of time. You grab somebody that you know, that you care about, that you love, and show them how to do what you know how to do, and give them a plan or an idea of how to plan their work and work their plan, how to plan their work and work their plan. That's all you got to do for these young people. Give them a head start. They smart enough and resourceful enough to make it happen for themselves. But you know, you can't know what you haven't been taught. So we can teach them something. Man, I've had ideas. I had this idea years ago, man, about how we could fix the educational system for our youth. Now, this might sound crazy to y'all, but I'm gonna talk about this shit before I do these birthday shout outs. Because I want y'all to hear this, and I also would love to hear what y'all think about it. But you know how we see our schools in our areas, especially in these big cities, we see our schools being shut down, I should say. And their excuses for it is because there are no children in the schools. Kids ain't coming to school. I'm like, damn, that's fucked up for the kids who did come to school. So y'all closing down the schools. And I thought the way that the government was set up was that the taxes from the working people in the neighborhood paid for the schools. That's how I've been taught that it works. But okay, so they're closing down these schools. We're complaining that they're closing down the good schools like the trade schools or magnet schools or whatever. And they're not teaching our children any life skills or how to make it out there in the workforce or anywhere else. Well, my idea for circumventing that, for getting around that, for combating that is, how about if block by block, we all, instead of having a neighborhood meeting or a community meeting about what stores should go up or what shouldn't, what crime is going on. All right, yeah, that's important too. But what if we did this for our babies, for our school children? What if we said, well, listen, when I was in school, I was good in math. When Miss Johnson was in school, she was good in science and math. Because, you kind of have to be good in math in order to be good in science. Mr. Dave over here was real good in English. He used to be able to write essays and, you know what I mean? He had good grammar and diction and whatever. This person was good and, knew history really good, blah, 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 whatever. And all of us are black and all of us care about our families and our communities. Why don't we do this? We take each adult, each concerned adult, and we either hold tutoring sessions in each one of our homes, and we can chaperone each other to make sure there ain't no funny business going on. Ain't gonna be no abuse situation, no molest, no none of that shit, none of that nasty shit. So we can monitor each other, help each other, but we can give our kids the training that they need. You need help in math, English, science, history, whatever, any of the electives that we were taught in high school, whatever. The people in the neighborhood, we all went to school too. Some of us went to college. Some of us have advanced degrees. Whatever we knew how to do, whatever we were good in, how about we get our children organized and we have tutoring sessions so we can help them with their homework and we can help them with their life work. We can do that shit. The schools don't want to do it. The government don't want to do it. We can do it. And we can do it for the fuck free. We can be the resource that our children and everybody else has had to pay all of this exorbitant amount of money for. We can do it for free. When our kids get to college, they ready to go. When our kids get out in the workforce, they ready to go. We can start them on a workforce now. And we know them. We can get to know our kids. So we can see like, well, oh, this is why you're having problems in school. You got problems concentrating, or you're going through puberty, or oh, damn. All right. So Mr. Frank or whatever, or Miss Gladys or whatever, yeah, they got problems in the home or whatever. But we can work around that. We can still work through that. We're going to still make sure our kids get what they need to do. And maybe in a non-judgmental manner, whatever. We got to do something new, but we got to do something for ourselves. We got to stop blaming everybody else for not giving us what we wasn't using in the fucking first place. Because think about it. If we was using what was available to us before, there's no way they could have shut it down. They couldn't justify it. Well, we can do this ourselves. We can make super kids. Put these kids out in the world ready to go. And hopefully they continue this. Because one thing that fraternities do is when they help each other, when they teach each other, when they go through things and fraternize with each other, literally, that shit weighs on them. Because that's like a gang member. That's like a teammate. Like, yeah, this is how we used to do. This is our shit. And they want to continue that. It's a good idea. Regardless of what you think about that motherfucker, Umar Johnson, Dr. Umar, Ifutande, he, like the high school, the school that he went to, Scotland School for Veterans Children, had a hell of an impact on him. That's why he wants to open that school. Yeah, it's taking way too long for him to do it. And yeah, he stole some money. I think he pocketed some money, which is why it's taking even longer or whatever. But nonetheless, that's what he's trying to do, because that impacted his life so much that he thought about it like, yo, I could do this for black kids. It was already black kids he was going to school with, but they was being basically parented by white house mothers or house parents. That's how it went. And I know this for a fact because two of my brothers went there. They went to the same school that Umar went to. One graduated with Umar. Did he graduate? Yeah. If Umar didn't graduate first, Umar that's how it happened. Umar graduated the year before my baby brother graduated. But that shit had an impact on him. But we can do these things ourselves. We gotta use our minds. We gotta use our minds to get this shit together. Our future depends on it. We're not gonna be here to see this shit. But do you not want your kids, your grandkids, your great grandkids to have a better way to survive than you do? Because they're reducing their survival skills and taking away their resources to even be able to survive in the face of injury or I guess you could say lack of resources or whatever. But we have what our kids need. We just haven't identified ourselves as having what they need. Maybe it's time for us to try something different. Let's do these birthday shout outs. We have some birthday shout outs to do. Some people were born on this glorious June 7th, and they deserve to be acknowledged. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them and making them feel special because they are special, because they are special, because they are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They get number one out the box. Princess Ewelu. Happy birthday to you. And also Lenny Barnard, happy birthday to you. And Regina Thompson, happy birthday. And Keisha Morris Thomas, Angela Smith, Proficia, Trina Bisco. She changed the name. Okay, Lovely Cadet, Lakeisha Malone, Luz Del Alba Sanchez, Alicia Barnes, Letitia Marie, Stephanie Fields, my cousin, Nicole Rouse. I want to say happy birthday to all of y'all. And I hope that today finds you all in good health, happiness, mind, body, soul, and spirit. And that goes out to each and every person out there born on this glorious June 7th, anywhere. From what I understand, today is Prince's birthday. The late, great Prince Rogers Nelson. Happy heavenly birthday to you. I want to say happy birthday to all of y'all and anyone else out there who shares this birthday on this glorious June 7th, anywhere out there in the world, worldwide, internationally, and universally. All of y'all go ahead and turn up. But don't turn up too loud. Just turn up loud enough so everybody can hear you. Rock out, rock on and do the damn, the rock out, rock on and do the damn, rock out, rock on and do the damn thing and do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings and do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours, and go hard, go for yours, and remember, class of 2025. I don't know how they gonna live, how they survive, but I know one thing for sure. I gotta be the resource and to make sure that they get the things that they need. I don't want them to bleed. I don't want them to be in an emergency. But what I want for them to do is please believe in me the same way that I will believe in you. And I know that we crew, but we ain't crew if we separate from each other like me and you used to do when we got mad at each other. But no, deep down inside, you're my brother. And there will be no other that will ever separate, because no matter what they do to me, I will never hate you as a person. But we gotta be rehearsing a better way for this play and make a better day. In the way that we do that shit is make sure that you understand me and you. I'ma get you on the right path, the math that I'ma teach. You know, the English I'ma try to reach you with the words that I say and also the things that I play. Yeah, when I say play, I mean that my actions, and I'm never going to try to break your back, son, or put a knife in it. I'm in it to win it. I'm going to take a minute, a second to wreck it. Yo, please respect it. Yo, I'm protected by the man above because he loves me like a motherfucker, so I don't push and shove nobody to do what I think they should, but I'm going to put that thought in your brain, and I know that I would be able to influence you a little bit. You might not do it now, but you're going to do that shit because you know that I'ma only tell you the right thing because you the right prince, right queen, right king, right princess. Enough of this mess. I'm tired of this bullshit out here. It's too much stress. We got Elon Musk fighting against Trump. That shit don't have nothing to do with me. I'm ready to give lumps to anybody that tries to pull down my youth. And a lot of elders got proof. I'm sorry that I messed up the line. Sometimes I stutter. Sometimes I eat too much shit and salt with the butter. It's gotta watch my cholesterol. My health is important. So I'm doing this shit right now. That's why I be sporting the chains. I put money, but I pay money to get these things. And I'm gonna get more shit, like a couple of rings, couple of games, couple of houses, couple of cars, living like a couple of stars. And I ain't the only one. I ain't inventing shit, but I got a lot of ideas, and I'm gonna let you know which ones hit. So I thank y'all all for coming through. Tomorrow at 1 o'clock, we're going to do the shit another you. Please hit the like button. Do the shit right now. All of a sudden, I appreciate y'all coming through. I hope y'all enjoy listening to the show as much as I enjoy broadcasting it. Hit the like button, share the show, subscribe to the channel. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, I holler back at y'all. Peace, Emily Dunlap and G Hyde. Thanks for coming through, y'all. Peace.